If a stranger ever gives you a phone number and tells you never to call it, you need to listen. 'Cause someone didn't. And what happened to her is the reason I'm making this video. Her name was Salma. 26 years old, worked as a night shift radio host for a small local station, the kind that plays old songs and takes calls from insomniacs at 3 in the morning. She'd been doing the job for 2 years, and in that time she thought she'd heard every strange caller a graveyard shift could bring. She was wrong. It started on an ordinary Tuesday night. Rain outside, the station nearly empty except for her and the sound engineer. A quiet guy named Rashid who mostly kept to himself behind the glass. Somewhere around 2 a.m., an old man walked into the station. No appointment, no explanation. Just walked past the front desk like he belonged there. He was thin, wearing a coat far too heavy for the season, and he asked calmly if he could speak with Salma directly. Salma stepped out to meet him, more out of curiosity than caution. The man didn't sit down. He simply handed her a folded piece of paper and said one sentence. "Whatever you do, don't call this number after midnight." Then he turned and walked out, before she could even ask his name. She unfolded the paper. Just 10 digits, written in shaky handwriting. No name, no explanation. Salma almost threw it away, but something about the way the old man had said it, not scared, not joking, just certain, made her fold it back up and put it in her pocket instead. She showed it to Rashid through the studio glass during the next song break. He shrugged it off, said it was probably some elderly listener playing a prank, and told her to forget about it. She tried. For 3 days she did. But on the 4th night, alone in the studio again, curiosity won. She dialed the number from the studio's landline, half expecting a disconnected tone. Instead, it rang. Once, twice. On the 3rd ring, someone picked up, but said nothing, just breathing, slow, steady, like whoever was on the other end wasn't in any hurry. "Hello," Salma said. Silence continued for almost 10 full seconds. Then a voice, flat and completely without emotion, said only, "You have 13 minutes." The line went dead. Salma laughed it off on air, actually mentioned it as a joke to her late-night listeners, calling it the creepiest prank call I've gotten in a while. A few listeners phoned in laughing along with her, but at 11:59, exactly 13 minutes later, every phone line into the station started ringing simultaneously. All 6 lines, at once. No caller ID on any of them. Rashid, from behind the glass, looked at her through the window, his face pale. None of the lines had ever rung together like that before, not even during contests. Salma didn't answer any of them. She simply stared at the blinking lights until exactly 1 minute later. All 6 stopped ringing at once, as suddenly as they'd started. The next morning, Salma couldn't stop thinking about it. She searched the number online, checked the area code, tried reverse lookup services. Nothing came up. It wasn't registered to any carrier, any business, any person. She asked around the station. An older employee, someone who'd worked there for almost 20 years, went quiet when she mentioned the number. He told her, reluctantly, that a former host, years before Salma was even hired, had received the exact same visit. Same old man, same warning, same folded paper. That host had also called the number out of curiosity, just like Salma, and 2 weeks later, he stopped showing up for his shifts entirely. No resignation letter, no forwarding address, nothing. The station simply replaced him and moved on, the way people do when someone vanishes and there's no clear explanation to hold on to. Salma felt a cold knot forming in her stomach. She should have stopped there. She should have thrown the paper away and never thought about the number again. Instead, she decided to call it one more time. She told herself it was to prove there was nothing to be afraid of. This time, it was 12:03 a.m., well past midnight. The phone rang only once before it picked up. The same slow breathing filled the line, closer now, like the microphone on the other end had moved. "You already used your 13 minutes, the voice said. Still flat, still calm. "This call doesn't end." Salma tried to hang up. The receiver wouldn't disconnect. The call display simply refused to change. The timer kept counting upward, past what should have been possible for any phone line. The studio lights flickered. Rashid banged on the glass, mouthing something she couldn't hear over the sound suddenly bleeding through her headphones. A low, distorted hum, like 100 voices layered on top of each other, all speaking at slightly different speeds. Then clearly, cutting through the noise, the voice said her name. Not hello, not caller. Her actual name, correctly pronounced, the way only someone who genuinely knew her would say it. The studio's main breaker cut out entirely. Complete darkness, just the emergency exit light glowing faintly. When the power came back on, seconds later, the phone was back on its receiver. The call log showed no record of any outgoing call that night at all. To this day, no one knows who the old man was or where the number actually leads. Some believe it's simply an urban legend passed between night shift workers to scare each other. Others aren't so sure. If you ever find a number with a warning attached to it, maybe just let it stay folded. If you enjoyed this story, help me out with a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Would you have made that first call or not?